The fact that Roman Reigns was eating right there and just enjoying himself and not necessarily caring that the crowd saw the tribal chief character actually having fun tells me that Roman Reigns is pretty much done with wrestling. It really does. Now, I'm happy he's enjoying himself, and I'm not saying this as a good thing, I'm not saying this as a bad thing, but I am saying this as a thing, stating, not hating, that Roman Reigns, if we're lucky, we might get 5 more singles matches out of this guy. I probably think, honestly, 3 more. 3 more. His contract is up at WrestleMania 42 afterwards, and he said in Vanity Fair, maybe I'll sign for 2 more years, and that's if Big Daddy TKO opens up his wallet, Moss coming out, and they're willing to pay him. And so it's like, I don't know. I really don't know. Let's just pretend, though, that we get 5 more singles matches from Roman Reigns, and we're gonna kind of go over them today, what they could be. Our best shots at getting 5 singles matches out of Roman Reigns. And you might be like, why would only he do 5 singles matches if he's going to be wrestling that long? Look at his track record. The last 3 singles matches he had, Solo Sikoa, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight. Yeah. You remember when LA Knight was in the main event scene and a threat for a title? Nobody does. Not even LA Knight remembers that. LA Knight probably thinks that was a fever dream at this point, the way he's booked nowadays. I love LA Knight, but come on, let's be for real. He's getting booked horribly. And for LA Knight to be the 3rd most recent Roman singles match, that's kind of crazy if you think about it. So let's go over this list. We'll start off with this championship belt. I think Roman will fight for it one more time. But before that, you can fight for this belt as well. I am running a contest on this channel here. Once I hit 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a belt. So make sure you comment below, because that's how I pick. Make sure you subscribe and you hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and you can win this belt. And maybe I can quit my day job before Roman quits his day job. And don't forget to thumbs up the video. Please thumbs up the video. Would you like them to thumbs up the video? Do a thumbs up for Roman. We acknowledge you, Roman. Acknowledge WrestleChop as well. Thank you. All right, so I did kind of break these down into categories. I'll pick the best one per category, even though certain wrestlers could fit into multiple categories. The first category is the main event. WrestleMania main event. I think Roman gets at least one more big time shot at the undisputed title in the main event of WrestleMania. And I think the perfect opponent for that would be actually Cody Rhodes. They are 1-1 at WrestleMania main events. And so if we do one more, they can have a trilogy. WWE loves to say, the trilogy of matches. And then it'll be the first ever trilogy of main event WrestleMania matches as well. I could definitely see that one happening right there. And that would be actually great for Cody Rhodes. For some reason, Cody only really, to me, the best Cody Rhodes as a babyface is the version when he fights Roman or The Rock. Those are like his two. Those are the two that brings out the best in him. And Roman, though, just go in the spotlight, the main event, WrestleMania, where he belongs. I definitely see that happening. The next category is family. I could see he wants to put one member of his family over. If Jey Uso wasn't already talking about winding down his career, I could totally see it being Jey. It would make perfect sense for Jey Uso to somehow, some way beat Roman in tribal combat to become the next tribal chief. But Jey Uso, I don't think he really wants it, based on interviews that he has said. Therefore, I don't see any reason for those two to ever have to fight again. Again, don't forget, we only got 5 matches to go. So if Roman's going to put someone over in his family, could be Jimmy. Jimmy would be a great one, but because Jimmy could be like, you know what, I'm tired of being overlooked. Roman, me and you, let's go. Not going to happen. Solo Sikoa, he wants a rematch. He already has his family tree. Maybe he wants to solidify it and say, no, I want them to be called the Bloodline. I want my Ula Fama back. Yeah, no, don't think so. So that leaves the most probable choice of Roman putting over a family member would be Jacob Fatu. And that's because, for one, he's viewed as a future star, like one of the top main eventers of the company already. He has shown that he connects with with the fans, all these things. And rumor has it that Roman originally came back to put Jacob over, but then didn't necessarily need to. So he kind of like pivoted to the Seth Punk angle last year. So I could see that happening. The only issue is nobody's ever going to boo Roman again. Ever. And Jacob. It's going to be hard to get people to boo Jacob too. So I don't know how that would happen. It could happen though. Jacob would be the most likely member of the Anoa'i family that Roman puts over. And I could see Roman doing that. I could see Roman saying, I want to put over a family member, a bloodline member, if you will. Favor for a friend? Favor for a friend would be he fights CM Punk. Not because he's a friend of CM Punk, because he's a friend of Paul Heyman. In real life, Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, they are thick as thieves, and I could see Paul saying, please, Roman, whether it's because it's a huge payday, whether it's because Paul Heyman is a legit friend of CM Punk and he just wants to do good by his friends. I do see Paul Heyman as very loyal to certain people, and I see him loyal to CM Punk and Roman Reigns behind the scenes, and I can see CM Punk wanting Roman Reigns on his resume, his legacy. Roman doesn't need Punk on his legacy, but Punk could use Roman on his. Now, granted, they probably fought a long time ago when Roman was cutting his teeth as a rookie, but I could see CM Punk wanting to beat the Tribal Chief here, or at least to have a match with the Tribal Chief now, Roman as he is now. And don't forget, CM Punk didn't come to make friends, he came to make money. What better money match than Roman? A favor for a friend through Paul. CM Punk asked Paul, and then Paul asked Roman. This one's a long shot, long shot, but what if, just for the love of the game, Roman actually said, I want to face John Cena one last time in this retirement tour. I don't see that happening. I really don't. I do think that Roman still does love wrestling. I just think that he is, that he's just, I wouldn't say over it, but like he's moving on. It was a chapter of his life that he will always fondly love and remember, but it's time to move on. The passion, the fire is no longer burning as bright as it once did. However, for certain people, who knows? So maybe sort of somehow Roman says, let me have one match with John Cena. And if Roman called it, I think John would oblige, because John has said on multiple times that Roman is the GOAT of all of wrestling. So that one's pretty much the longest of long shots, but just for the love of the game, Roman asks for a John Cena match, because if it doesn't happen now, it doesn't happen ever. Legacy is up next. For Roman's overall legacy, I think we need, and we will, have the one final match of Seth freaking Rollins versus Roman Reigns. They started together. Seth is the reason that started probably the downward spiral of Roman Reigns. Yes, it took a long time for Roman to fully embrace his dark side of being the tribal chief, but it was the betrayal of his brother, Seth Rollins, in the Shield that made Roman eventually turn to his own blood in order to have a family within the WWE structure, to have his back. They need to happen. It needs to happen. I thought it was going to happen this year at SummerSlam, to be honest with you, but it didn't. Whether or not it's because Seth is really injured or they're faking Seth's injury, it's not happening. It's not happening, and maybe they're holding it off. Maybe this is Roman's last match. What if it's Seth Rollins that retires him? I don't know. But these two need to have it for Roman's legacy, to put a bow tie, to put not a bow tie. Like, could you imagine a little tuxedo bow tie on this feud? That'd be kind of cool, actually. But no, to put a bow on this feud to say, wrap it up. Whoever wins, it needs to happen. Has to happen. This has to be one of the matches. I think this match is more important than Cody match at WrestleMania. This could be the WrestleMania match also as well right here. And bonus points, if somehow, some way, Jon Moxley on AEW side decides not to re-sign for like 1 or 2 years so he can come back on Roman Reigns' last year. Could you imagine Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns, I could see Roman actually wanting that. I could see Roman actually saying, Dean, let's do this. Let's have a match. And honestly, those three that could be the whole year. Like, literally those three. And then we could have one final match of all three of them fighting each other. That actually would be amazing and cool. That would be like one of the only times that I would be like, let's have a triple threat match to blow off this feud. Because those three together, they were just synonymous with one another at the early stages of their career. But again, so many things would have to happen. Never say never in wrestling. Never say never. If Jon Moxley, his contract is up in a year or two, maybe there's some way to get him over here before Roman goes. But if he doesn't, then it has to be Seth. Him and Seth have to have their match to just, to end Roman's career, to make sure that there are no loose ends. On the subject of retirement matches, if this one would just be a boatload of money. Here, Roman, we're going to just give you a ton of cash to have this match. I don't think Roman would necessarily want this match, and this match would be against Gunther. The reason why I say this is if Triple H is like, hey, we need an end boss now. Because Roman Reigns as the end boss, 100%. There's no other end boss in WWE other than Gunther. Maybe Obafemi in NXT, but when Obafemi comes into the main WWE, he won't be an end boss. He'll just be, a rookie. Maybe in like 10 years he'll be an end boss, but right now Gunther is the closest thing to an end boss that we have. And so if they want to solidify things, he beat Goldberg, yay. There's talks of him being John Cena's last match, and then if somehow, some way he gets to beat Roman Reigns, well, I would say then Gunther is definitely an end boss, but again, I don't see Roman really caring about that match. So it'd have to be a lot, like an obscene amount of money for Roman to do that, like Saudi Arabia money. Okay, I only got a couple more choices here. I could see Roman wanting to put somebody over. Just, again, I do believe that Roman loves the business, loves wrestling, and on your way out, a veteran is supposed to put over talent. Now, the people that I've mentioned, if he fought Seth, Cody, John Cena, all these people aren't really people that need to be put over by Roman, by having a match with Roman. Gunther? Okay, yes, Gunther, but I've already said, I don't think he really cares to do it with Gunther. Who would he care to do it with? Who would he want to maybe put over just because he wants to give back? And I actually do see it as Braun Breaker. I could see it being Braun Breaker. Jacob Fatu is his number one choice because it's family, but Braun Breaker, let's say no blood, no nothing, just an up-and-coming talent that is the future. I could see Roman saying, you know what, I will face Braun Breaker one-on-one. He's already doing it at SummerSlam, and this could lead to a logical one-on-one match after, but I could also see it just leading to nothing. Maybe a match at War Games. So, like, for real though, I could see Roman doing that. But I could also see Triple H not letting it happen, or TKO not letting it happen. If TKO was like, we only have 3 matches left with Roman Reigns, if they had a choice between Seth and Roman, Punk and Roman, Cody and Roman, and Braun and Roman, they're probably not going to let it be Braun. We would love it to be Braun, but I don't see TKO allowing it to be. So I only really got the dream match that I could see Roman saying, all right, I'll stay for this match, but I'll tell you my dream match first, the one that I want, that I don't see happening. I would love it to be Obafemi, but that's just not going to happen. He'll be too new to the roster, no matter what. But if I could pick anyone in this world, Jelly Roll, for sure. Now that I've seen Jelly Roll, how he's been on WWE Okay, not Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre would definitely 100% be the guy I would love for Drew to be the guy that retires him. The guy that fights him at WrestleMania for the belt. The guy for everything. Drew's my guy. Problem is, Drew can get rolled up on any random SmackDown. They're not giving it to Drew. Drew's just not gonna get it, unfortunately. So let's be realistic here. That would be my pick, but that one's just not going to happen. Braun Breaker is definitely more likely than Drew McIntyre. All right, so that said, the dream match. Some of you out there might be like, what about Brock Lesnar? Yeah, those two, actually, I would say, other than Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar has been Roman Reigns' like arch nemesis throughout his like career. And like they did have a final match though. They had a legit final match at SummerSlam a while ago. You know, when Brock like lifted up the ring with that like tractor. So like there's been closure there. So it doesn't need to happen. And I just don't think it will happen based on the real life lawsuit with Vince McMahon and Brock being attached to it. So we can just forget that. And besides that, I don't think Roman would ever want to put his body on the line again in such a hard hitting match. I really don't. He doesn't need to. He just won't do it. So even if Brock was a prospect, he'd probably just say, no, don't need to. Their tale has been told. So who's the dream match? It's obvious. It's Tunga Loa. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I just did the joke with Jelly Roll. But no, it's The Rock. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. That's the match. That's the match we were almost had at WrestleMania 40. That is the dream match. That will never happen. I think The Rock got his feelings hurt. And I think The Rock is still boo-hooing in his, tequila? I don't know what it is. Tequila. I think it's tequila. Whatever it is, I don't see that happening. Rock's a busy dude also. Rock is a super busy dude. And while I do feel The Rock loves wrestling, I think The Rock loves The Rock even more so. And, and it's hard to blame a guy. He's like 54 years old. And, yeah, he's in shape, but he's not really like in shape. He did surprise me at WrestleMania 40, though, wrestling that tag match. I just don't see it happening anymore. I think that one has sailed, and I hate that because that is a dream match. But somehow, some way, The Rock was like, let's do this, Roman. Let's do this. Me versus you. The dream match of dream match. We will both retire after this. We will both go on to our separate things. And that would be insanely awesome. That could main event the main events. That could main event WrestleMania. Any WrestleMania. That would be the main event right there. So there you have it. Those are the matches that I see possible for Roman. Even though, like, honestly, that was too many. Of all those lists, the ones that I see happening solo-wise would be, I could see one more with Cody, I could see one with Seth, and I could see one with Jacob Fatu. Now, those are the three that I think that are the most likely. Jacob Fatu's even iffy, though. Maybe Braun Breaker or Jacob Fatu. Those are my picks for who Roman can face at the tail end of his career. Who do you think? What do you think? Make an argument for another wrestler if you have one. Don't just say who you want. You can say who you want, but like make an argument logistic. Like, why do you think Tozawa is one of Roman's last feuds? Let me know in the comments below. You boys, you girls, please have yourself a wonderful day, and don't forget, at some point, acknowledge your tribal chief, Roman Reigns.